Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Gummy Clusters, the sweet treat that always elevates the vibe. With a sweet gummy surrounded with tangy, crunchy nerds, every bite of Nerds Gummy Clusters brings you a whole new world of flavor. Whether it's game night, on the way to a concert, or kicking back with your crew, unleash your senses with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher. So today we have Kennith Burks, and he's the founder and CEO of CarKenneth, which is a revolutionary mobility solutions provider designed to reduce vehicle theft and accident, expand access to environmentally friendly mobility options, and get cars off the road, which I really resonate with. So with that, we're going to talk all about business, entrepreneurship, the emerging landscape of vehicles. And with that, Kenny, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here with you and your audience.
Yeah, you have a really interesting, because basically combining so many different things into a platform. You're doing data, AI, changing the way the car industry is working. So tell us more about yourself and how you got started.
Absolutely. Yeah, so a little bit about myself, although I'm really ingrained into the mobility and vehicle space now. It wasn't always this way. I actually got my first vehicle when I landed a job in the mobility field. So before that, I didn't know what a vehicle was, a tire was, mobility, connectivity, etc. Full circle to see where I am today. But just a step back in terms of my background, I'm originally from the East Coast, Newark, New Jersey, born and raised there. I'm an East Coaster through and through. Went to undergrad back on the East Coast, got an applied mathematics degree. And during that time, I was looking for an internship. Math guy, math background. I'm just throwing darts at the wall for an internship. And this company called Bridgestone got back to me, and they sold tires, had automotive stores, and things of that nature. So it didn't really fully correlate how mathematics tends itself with automotive, but I went through with that. I went with the internship, and it really got me into the mobility field. And that really got me where I am today, using my mathematics background, my problem solving approach, and then branching that to the mobility field really got us to where we are today, of me looking at mobility through the lens of a problem solver, a user. How can I help the mobility infrastructure, albeit safety, convenience, traffic, you name it. And that's really a little bit about my background, why I'm really so passionate about the mobility field.
Yeah, really interesting. And we'll go into it. So first, we'll talk about basically the future of mobility. And so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it really varies, depends on the lens you're looking at. I'll look in two lenses, and the two lenses I'm building in. I would say first, vehicle connectivity and how that lends itself to safety through telematics. The way I like to explain it is 20 years ago, you were actually rolling around a gasoline powered vehicle, dial knobs, maybe you had a CD player in there, but you were pretty much only connected to the vehicle you were in it while you were driving it. Outside of that, you really had no connection to it. If the vehicle was stolen, you had no idea about it. Maybe the car alarm went off, but you had no physical way to track the vehicle. The vehicle was speeding, and let's say your child was driving, you had no indicator that your child was speeding. So the future of mobility, as I see it through connectivity, is going to be an ecosystem where a lot of data is at your fingertips. And you as a user, you as a business owner, you as a consumer, really have the opportunity to use that data as you wish. So again, if you're a worried parent and your concern is, hey, is my child actually going to this party she said she was going to? Let me check her vehicle location. Or is she actually adhering by the speed limits? That lens, the future mobility will be a lot better for you, opposed to you being up at night worried. You'll have that data at your fingertips. Another use case with that same vehicle connectivity could be, you're a business owner or fleet owner. You have, let's say, 25, 30 vehicles. And let's say you're in the landscaping business. You got 30 vehicles out there working for you daily, obviously with your employees there as well. But you want to just make sure your the employees are following, protocols, as well as they are safe out there. There's no accidents, things that the vehicle is not stolen. And how can vehicle connectivity and data be important to you as a vehicle owner or fleet owner, as your vehicles are out being monetized? And in the past, those things were possible, but you had to buy plug-in devices. You had to hotwire the vehicle, put things on the battery, just too many opportunities for things to go wrong. And the future of mobility in that sense is the vehicle is a computer. So you have access to a lot of those data points that the vehicle is spitting off at your fingertips through your phone, through your computer, right there when you need it. So on one lens, I see the future of mobility very connected, a lot of data flowing back and forth between the OEM, third-party consumers, as well as the consumers itself. And then on the other end, really quickly, the future of mobility, as I see it at a greater scheme, is accessibility. Imagine you're traveling to San Francisco or New York City. Depending on what you want to do that day, maybe you want to go see the Statue of Liberty, or you want to see the Golden Gate Bridge. If you're out in San Francisco, there's probably 15, 20 things that's on your itinerary. And one mode of transportation doesn't really suffice that. Maybe it's the train to somewhere and then the bike back, or you're riding a scooter with your wife and your kids and you're catching an Uber back, or you maybe want to take a rental car today because you guys want to go camping or hiking for the day. And how do you really access that as simple as possible through one platform, through one payment versus 12 apps you need today? So the future of mobility, as I see it, is one ecosystem that allows you really to get around. Very simple, one platform, one app to book, plan, and pay for your mobility trips. And that really lends itself to us moving towards a shared ecosystem. And that's really how you get vehicles off the road. If you really optimize the vehicles that are on the road and the vehicles that are in our ecosystem, that's how we see the opportunity to get vehicles off the road and help solve some of the greenhouse emissions issues we have because of a lot of the vehicles we have.
Yeah. And talk about especially infrastructure, because not only vehicles, but like if going to the airport, for example, and just like you have to, it's a traumatic experience. So talk about modernizing mobility infrastructure.
Absolutely. And I think that lends itself, one, to connectivity, because when you know where the pieces are, you can actually plan ahead and move a little more efficiently. So the example could be, if I know I have a 9:00 flight today and I caught the train, I know the train comes at 6 a.m. I can really plan my day ahead. And yeah, there may be some wiggle room there because nobody is perfect. I'm sure that train may be a few minutes late, a few minutes early. So definitely plan being able to have some wiggle room in there. But I think the future of the mobility infrastructure is a connected one where all the assets are talking to each other. So the bus has connectivity data, the train has connectivity data, the Uber has connectivity data, etc. So you can really dial in exactly how you need to plan your trip to really optimize your travels. And just to take it a step further, although it's outside the mobility field, it also can be brought into this platform, whereas you can see how long it takes for TSA line to be there, because that technology is out there. So you can say, hey, I can plan my trip. TSA is taking 37 minutes right now. Let's plan that 37 minutes into our travels versus being in the blind. So I think that's the future of the mobility infrastructure as a whole. It's really connected, and assets and data talking to each other so that us as consumers have that data at our fingertips to make the best decision that we can at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the transportation, especially the roads and cars, crazy drivers. It would be interesting if you have like autonomous vehicles and then like they're all connected through the internet, so they know like to avoid it, and so basically eliminate traffic accidents. So tell us about vehicle safety and security.
Absolutely. You hit on an interesting point, and that's a little deeper conversation I love to have, but typically I'm not going that deep into the grades when I'm talking about vehicle security. Typically, I'm talking about just kind of base level vehicle security, because I'm from Newark, New Jersey, and it was unfortunately crowned stolen car capital of the United States back in the 90s. So I'm very accustomed to seeing stolen cars, knowing family members whose cars were stolen. So even at the baseline level, vehicle connectivity could be a deterrent to thieves out there, knowing that, hey, this vehicle is tracking me. It maybe has a low jack in it that may be shut off and the cops find me. But also you as a consumer knowing that, hey, my vehicle was stolen, but there's a little peace of mind knowing that the vehicle is parked 2 blocks over and I can go retrieve it or tell the police officer that is there. And also, just as I mentioned before, just vehicle security of your loved ones, people who are monetizing your vehicles. So on that end, connectivity is definitely going to lend itself to security. And it's happened already. If you own a Tesla, they have a very extensive security system in Sentry mode. And it's one of the better systems out there. It was actually something that when I was planning, Car Kenny back in 2017, I was saying that I would love to meet with Elon Musk to build that out. And he went out ahead and did it. So it let me know I was at least on the right path. But to the other point really quickly, and it's a very interesting one, because I hear that a lot of talks about autonomous vehicles. And are they safer or less safer than your typical driver? And studies say they're definitely safer than your typical driver based on the number of accidents. But the point you made of, in the future of connected, I can see a case where an autonomous vehicle is driving on the road with a crazy driver. Yeah, that's a cause of concern there, because you got an autonomous computer there trying to think what the driver is going to do and vice versa. But if everybody's autonomous and all the data pieces are connected and they're talking to each other, yes, we know the sensors won't get 5 feet within each other. This vehicle is going 35 miles an hour, so I'll go 20 now. So that's the future that I'm very excited for, because as we build to there, yes, be a lot of building blocks and a lot of convincing. But I think once we get to that real connected ecosystem, that all these pieces are talking to each other, I think that's when we'll really see the data come to life, that these vehicles are 90% safer, whatever that study say. I think once we get to that point where everything is connected, even like the traffic lights and the parking and everything, it'll be a lot safer. And that's what I'm looking forward to for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting because basically the Gen Alpha and then the younger generation may not even need driver's license, because all they need is a smartphone and they can call a Uber or whatever. And it's something really affordable. And then we get rid of like buses and there's this noise and sound and all this pollution. And so what's interesting is you do, so CarKenneth is a mobility as a service platform. So tell us what MaaS is and how it's transforming the future of mobility.
Absolutely. Thanks for that question. Yeah, I would say us as a whole, we're building a future of mobility. And the two legs that I mentioned is, one is telematics. We have a platform on the market today on the App Store under CarKenneth. And essentially what I like to call it is a ring doorbell type approach for your vehicle. So have that same safety that you get from a ring doorbell for your vehicle. If you're 1,000 miles away, you can see who's at your doorbell. You can talk to them. Really have some peace of mind there. Giving you that same peace of mind for your vehicle. We have that platform on the market today. To your question of mobility as a service, it's one I mentioned earlier of accessibility in a one-stop platform. Mobility as a service combines all modes of transportation into one easy-to-use platform for users to book, plan, and pay for transportation and mobility needs all through one platform. So you can imagine one platform having Uber, Lyft, Lime Scooter, Bird Scooter, City Bike, other e-bike providers, as well as rental cars. Then you got the mass transit providers like Metro here in LA, or BART in San Francisco, MTA in New York City, etc. So really giving you the whole ecosystem so that you as a consumer, you don't really need to own a vehicle. Now, there's some pockets of America, I get it, you got to own a vehicle. But if you're living in San Francisco or New York City, you really don't need to own a vehicle. Everything you need is right around you. So if you do want to take a longer trip, well, there's a Zip car parked right outside your house. You can rent it for the day. Or maybe you just want to ride down the street to the grocery store. You can walk or ride a bike. So that's really what mobility as a service is, one platform that really combines all modes of transportation for accessibility, as well as, again, it helps get vehicles off the road. Because if you don't need to own a vehicle, that's one less vehicles that's sitting there parked 80% of the time, as numbers say. That's one less bill you get to have, one more peace of mind for you and your family, but still being able to take advantage of the mobility options out there. So that's in a nutshell what mobility as a service is. And again, some of the beacons are accessibility, environmentally friendly mobility options, and then moving towards a shared ecosystem versus kind of the personal ownership society that we live in today.
Yeah. Really interesting conversation. And we're hearing these as a service platform. And it's really interesting to see what CarKenneth is doing, especially in terms of safety, security, the environment, and incorporating into this future of mobility. How can people contact you, follow you on social, and check out your website?
Absolutely. Yeah, so our website is carkenneth.com. We're currently going through a makeover. However, there's a lot of information right now on telematics and the importance of vehicle security. But stay tuned. We're going to be launching our mobility as a service platform here soon. It's going to give you a lot of data on the benefits of mobility as a service, even if you're just taking pieces of individual technologies or transformation or transportation service providers like a mass transit only or Uber only. That platform is coming soon. A lot of information online that you can find at carkenneth.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our tag is CarKenneth Inc. INC. You can find us there. My personal pages is really where I spend a lot of my time. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. It's my last name, Burks, And then it's KK01. That's my @ BURKS KK01. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook there. And then finally, most importantly, you can find us on the App Store. The Car Kenny app is on the App Store now under Car Kenny. We have a 7-day free trial, so you can go around, play around, add your vehicle to see exactly what some of that vehicle accessibility you can get now. Unlock your vehicle remotely, check your GPS location, check your vehicle health status. So yeah, between those platforms, social media, our website, and then on the App Store, I think your users should be able to find us, your listeners.
Yeah, you should find it everywhere. And with that, be sure to check out Kenny's resources. They'll be in the links and show notes. Be sure to check out carkenny.com, see how the company is transforming the future of mobility. And with that, thanks so much, Kenneth. And it was a very interesting conversation about the future of tech and mobility.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I look forward to coming back here soon and actually showing you what we built.